team. We have the guys from fantasyfootballstarters.com with the answers. Jeff Corchini and Russ Bliss. Thank you both for being here again.
This is week one. We're here and ready to go.
Everyone is all ears, of course. The first game on schedule Thursday just wasn't that explosion that I think folks were hoping for. So what do we do now? Who do we start? What advice do you guys have for today?
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny because traditionally defenses are ahead of the offenses right now, so that game was close. We're going to have a couple of tips about when you go in and setting your lineup. And one of the things I advocate is you start your studs.
Okay.
What that means, Tess, is you go with your starters. A lot of times we kind of relate fantasy football players to stock commodities, right? So think of it as, hey, when you're kicking off a day in the stock market, you're going to watch your stock and value. You want to pay attention to the ones that have the high value. Same thing with your fantasy football roster, right? You want to make sure you start Frank Gore. You want to make sure you start your studs if you've got wide receiver Randy Moss. Those are the guys you want to stick to, right, Russ?
Yes.
You got it.
And then, of course, something that you have to be aware of when you're watching the games today, inevitably it happens every year, there's a guy that I call the first week wonder. And the first week wonder is somebody that usually is not on anybody's fantasy team, but he goes out and has this great game in week number one, and then a mad scramble goes to the waiver wire. Last year, it was Denver Broncos wide receiver Brandon Stokely. Brandon Stokely makes an 87-yard touchdown reception at the end of the game against the Cincinnati Bengals, bounces up in the air, lands in his hands, he gets the touchdown. But all a lot of fantasy players paid attention to was the fact that, hey, he had an 87-yard touchdown reception. So they make the mad scramble to go get him. They don't pay attention to the fact that that was his only catch or that represented 25% of his total stats
for the whole
year.
2009 season.
Exactly.
Can you ever predict or who you may think is a one-week wonder?
Oh, yeah, I do it every year.
All right, who do you say? And we'll talk about it next week.
Well, no, I don't know in advance who it's going to be, but afterwards, it's identifying who that player is because everyone makes that mad dash.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So whoever someone does well this week, they're going to be all over that guy trying to get him.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And speaking of this week, we do have some good plays this week, though.
Who should we be starting? Who should we play?
Well, at quarterback, you got to love the matchup for Jay Cutler against the Detroit Lions. Last year, in Week 17, Jay Cutler threw 276 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions. They were dead last in pass defense last year. I think that Jay Cutler this year with Mike Martz's offense, he's good for 300 yards and 2 to 3 touchdowns this week. Definitely a good play.
At running back, it's I got to go with the rookie Ryan Matthews.
Okay.
San Diego Chargers picked it up. They drafted him real high. He is a solid player. He's from Fresno State. Last year, Tess, he had 1,800 yards rushing, and he missed a game and a half, right? This week, he's going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. He's making his first NFL debut. We predict that he's probably going to have 90 yards and a touchdown. This guy is a great player. San Diego, they draft players, they start him. He's following a legacy in LaDainian Tomlinson, but this guy is a real good pick, and we think he's going to be one of the better rookies this season.
And Russ Hines Wood is also getting some accolades out there.
Yeah, Hines Ward, for a sleeper play, if you're looking for a guy, you know, you're looking at your number 3 wide receiver, Hines Ward last year had 5 games with over 100 yards receiving, and this week he gets an Atlanta Falcons pass defense that was one of only 5 in the NFL last year that gave up 4,000 yards or more of passing yards.
Plus, that rookie needs him. That rookie quarterback needs him.
Well,
Dixon needs him this
Dennis
week.
Dixon is in his 2nd year now, and Dennis Dixon definitely is going to rely on a crafty veteran like Hines Ward to bail him out of situations in Pittsburgh. So I think Hines Ward is one of those sneaky plays, about 70 yards and a touchdown this week.
That's what we're
You guys amaze me at knowing every detail of the NFL. I'm very, very impressed. Okay, we want to talk about our Cardinals, of course, kicking things off in St. Louis today. We're excited about that. What do you guys, what do you think is going to come out of that one?
We've got the prediction. First of all, we're predicting the Cards to win 23-17. We think that the offense is going to have a good go, don't we?
Yeah, the offense for the Arizona Cardinals against the Rams defense. Rams defense is not all that good. The Cardinals will go with Tim Hightower a lot in this game because Beanie Wells is questionable for this game. Even if he is active, don't expect him to play very much. But I anticipate that the Cardinals defense is really going to feast on the Rams offense because that's an offensive line that's still a work in transition. They've got a rookie starting at left tackle. In 2 games last year against the St. Louis Rams, Cardinals defense racked up 7 sacks and 5 turnovers.
This week it could be, I think this week we're looking at probably 3 sacks, 2 turnovers. They're starting that rookie quarterback, right? Cardinals defense is going to be all over it. The other thing I'm really excited about is watching Darrell Washington, this rookie linebacker that the Cards have. You know,
they've got Darnell about him.
Yeah, they've got Darnell Dockett on the defensive line. They got Adrian Wilson in the secondary. Perfect scenario to bring in a rookie. This guy's been all over the field. Dana Valentine loves him.
Yeah.
One of our other partners just loves this guy and thinks that he's going to make it. So I think the Cards fans have a lot to be happy for.
What are we thinking about Fitzgerald's injury update here? Do you have an update for us?
Well, Larry Fitzgerald, of course, practiced in full all week. He's probable on the injury report. Larry's going to be just fine.
Okay.
He probably could have played in the preseason after sustaining that injury in the first preseason game, but the Cards were very smart to hold him out. Just let him get totally healthy so that way he's ready for when the games do count.
And this is Derek Anderson's debut, too, right? This is going to be a big thing. You know, Coach.
After that announcement last weekend, the Leinart's out.
Absolutely. And Coach Whisenhunt is going to make sure and set him up for success, right? Coach Wiz does a great job at game planning. I think we're looking at probably 200 yards, maybe a touchdown, maybe an interception. This is probably, like we said, not a high-scoring game, but it'll still be within a touchdown test.
And what are we talking about when it comes to the Rams offense versus the Cards defense? What are we looking at there?
Well, right there you're looking at Steven Jackson. Expect to see the Rams use Steven Jackson an awful lot in this game to take pressure off of Sam Bradford because they don't want to put too much on the rookie quarterback's shoulders right away. And Steven Jackson last year in the one game that he did play against the Cardinals because he was injured in the second game, Steven Jackson had over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown against the Cardinals defense. Okay. Expect them to throw that at him a lot, but the Cards defensive line with rookie Dan Williams there now, you've got Brian Robinson and Gabe Watson. The Cards boast one of the best front sevens in the NFC, in my opinion. I really think that they're going to be able to shut down the Rams rushing attack and force Bradford to have to make those passes, and that's when they're going to get their turnovers.
So if you have any of those Cardinals players you mentioned, definitely good to start them then today?
Oh, we got to go with Hightower. We got to go with Fitzgerald. Again, Fitzgerald's a stud. You got to start your studs. The fact that you got Beanie Wells injured, Hightower is a great play. Last week we talked about him being a sleeper test, so I'd start him this week if you got him.
Okay, very good. And as always, you guys have an offer there for our viewers when it comes to fantasy football.
That's right. That's right. Every week we do a gift fantasy football giveaway for our championship plan. So if anybody can name the Cardinals running back who scored the rushing touchdowns in both games last year. Now the first viewer to email Jeff at fantasyfootballstarters.com with the correct answer will win our championship plan. $24.95 value. They'll get it absolutely free. Again, the first person to email me what Cardinals running back scored touchdowns in both games against the Rams last year. Tess, do you know?
Okay. Of course I know.
All right.
I can't say it because then I'd give the answer away. Right. As always, guys, we appreciate it. I know folks have until 10 o'clock to make to start who they're going to start this morning. So good luck on your fantasy football teams, and we'll check in with you guys next Sunday for more tips. Okay, thanks, guys.